A new poll reveals an unsettling truth. Groceries, not rent or loans, are now America's biggest source of financial stress. President Trump's proposed tariffs could make that even worse, while job data sends mixed signals. Is the U.S. staring at an economic crisis wrapped in inflation and political chaos? Our next story tells you more.
Donald Trump's chaotic tariffs are already bleeding our economy of good-paying jobs.
This is truly the dawn of the golden age of America. That's what we're in.
It's not war, not taxes, not gas prices. It's groceries. The dinner table has become the battleground for America's middle class. An AP Norc poll paints a bleak picture. More than half of Americans say they're stressed about affording food, not credit card debt, not student loans, not child care, just milk, eggs, meat, and vegetables. The essentials have become luxuries.
The poll found that 53% of Americans say the cost of groceries is a major source of stress, and 47% said this about the cost of housing. One thing that really stands out in the data is that only 14% of Americans say the cost of groceries is not a source of stress for them right now. So even if it's not a major source of stress for everyone, this is something that's being felt by Americans across many different subgroups.
The latest jobs report landed like a punch in the gut. Despite the White House's insistence, the labor market is slowing much faster than the president claims. Hiring is down, and after months of relentless inflation, families are feeling squeezed like never before.
Price is killing me. Instead of saving money in my bank account, I'm using it in groceries.
I got a lot of stress at home, and now when I come to the grocery store, it just raises the level of stress up, and it's mentally messing with me, because my attitude when I go home, anybody say anything out the way after I come from the grocery store or the Family Dollar, wherever, I click.
The prices seems to go up every week, every month. But every time I come, I see the difference in the price, especially fruits.
Economists are beginning to detect early warning signs in world's biggest economy. Second quarter GDP increases at 3.0% rate, but it masks the underlying slowing trend. Spending was lifted by motor vehicles, likely reflecting preemptive buying ahead of import duties. Core inflation, which excludes volatile food and energy prices, also rose 0.3% in June. Job creation has dropped below expectations for the second straight month. U.S. employers added 73,000 jobs in July, down from the prior month and lower than economists expected. Real wages are stagnating. With the American economy tiptoeing on a slippery slope, the real push comes from Trump tariff. While the U.S. president promises that in the long run it would reap benefits. But for the average American consumer, tariffs trickles down like a tax. Importers are bound to raise prices to cover the duty. This reflects in the grocery bills, construction materials, appliances, and cars. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
All right, Ray Locker is actually still with us to talk about the concerns Americans have on the economy. Ray, I'm seeing here right now that almost 90% of American adults say that they're stressed about the cost of groceries. That's a really high percentage.
Yeah, it's astonishing, and it's one of the few signs of bipartisanship we're seeing in this country. And it's a reflection on the higher costs of anything you see at the grocery store. Look, people who go to the store notice prices. I do it too. Hey, that chicken that I bought for, $5 yesterday or 2 weeks ago is now $5.50. What's going on? And a lot of that is due to the tariffs, because those prices get passed on. They're a tax on American consumers, not foreign countries, but the people who buy goods in the United States.
And so we're talking about the tariffs on the one hand, but then we're also seeing a trend that, since the last 5 years, we haven't been able to get these prices down or under control. They're just on a steady rise, at least by 3% or 2.7%. Is this going to continue?
Well, if we go into a recession, perhaps not, because then you're going to have deflationary pressures on the economy. You won't have as many people working. Therefore, the competition to buy things will probably decrease. You mentioned the last 5 years. Well, in 2020, we had a very disruptive pandemic. It rattled supply chains around the world. So it meant that in some places, if you were buying pork products, the people who produce those products, a lot of them weren't working. So there was a greater demand on a shrinking number of products. That always raises prices. And in a lot of cases, those prices haven't subsided. They have in some places, but not in all places. You look at eggs. Well, there were some problems with bird flu. So you had a shrinking supply, which drove up demand and drove up prices for the remaining eggs. And that price has not dropped either.
Yeah, no, they're really not. Like you, I go to the grocery store as well, and I see that, it's tickering up. It doesn't go down, it tickers up, and very unlikely that it'll stay stable for a longer period of time. Ray, I'm really going to let you go this time. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thanks, Susan.